so I'm sitting here with Renata.
Hey,
Welcome to my channel.
thank you.
You have 30 seconds, quick introduction about where you come from, what is your undergrad in, and how did you ended up in Iceland.
I got you. I'm Renata. I'm originally from Mexico. I have a background in mechanical engineering, and I came to Iceland, specifically Reykjavik University, to pursue sustainability, try to combat climate change.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How did you discover this?
So that's a good question. I was just trying to focus on countries that have been successful in implementing sustainable practices.
Right.
So my top two choices were here and actually Costa Rica.
Oh,
Yeah.
what a...
Very different.
Yeah.
But from my perspective, similar.
Let's talk a bit more about the subjects, what you study. Tell me more.
So currently I'm just working on my thesis.
Okay.
But before I got into that, I took some economics classes, specifically energy economics. I took European law for energy, and I also took a couple physics, energy tech, which is basically fluid dynamics, thermodynamics,
Right.
heat transfer, all that good stuff. And then got a little bit more specific in my second semester, taking a smart grids, which is a focused power systems class.
Okay.
So think grid and electricity lines,
Yeah.
and how to make that a little bit better. And as well as a wind power class. And that was really nice. We started off with like the theoretical physics behind aerodynamics. That's where the fluids came into. And then we had a lab aspect to it where we actually ended up building a wind turbine and constructing.
Really?
Yeah, like this big. But we
Wow.
3D printed it and attached it to a motor.
Yeah.
And we also were able to build kind of like something to model the disturbances in like
Yeah.
the air, so like trees and buildings, and we just kind of did that.
If I'm sitting in US
Yeah.
or anywhere in the world, what are the admission requirements to get into this course?
Okay. To get into this course, you have to have some sort of bachelor's degree. I believe it can be engineering, business, economics, law, any of the sciences. We have lots of geophysicists and
Right.
yeah. And apart from that, I believe there's a recommendation,
Right.
cover letter, why you want to be here, kind of stuff.
I just take all of these
Yeah.
and then apply through website.
Yes.
Is that what you do?
Yeah, we have an online forum where you can apply, and after you go through the application process, there's also a Skype interview or
Okay.
in-person interview if you happen to be in Reykjavik, but chances are you're not.
So tell me a bit more about the job opportunities after completing this course.
Yeah, absolutely. So right now, I am actually doing my thesis with both the National Energy Company as well as the National Transmission Company, Landsvirkjun and Landsnet. Yeah, I'm really stoked about the
Wow.
project. Thank you. The university has really good connections with all of those companies, as well as a lot of engineering consulting companies, not just here, but abroad. I have a friend working in Finland on circular economy stuff, which is basically, it's really cool.
Wow.
They're doing stuff on kind of making sure there's no waste in any of the systems. So taking whatever they're using and making that waste the input for something else.
Right.
And I have some friends in Canada doing geothermal stuff, and they're doing some sponsor stuff with some
Yeah.
low temperature drilling. I'm not a geothermal person, but there's a lot of that. This is a class that they offered last year. Again, I'm not a geothermal person, but I can admire the fact that this is really cool. They had a 3-week intensive course on a software that's specifically for modeling geothermal energy or potential. And they had the people from New Zealand who developed the software come in here and teach that course.
Wow.
So yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. In terms of part-time job,
Yeah.
what is the situation in that?
I think it's a really good way to integrate into Iceland. I actually have 2 part-time jobs.
Wow, wait. But 2 part-time
For
jobs.
funsies, I'm like the media manager here. So I just post articles for
Okay.
Facebook, and like if we have thesis defenses, or that's how I
Yeah.
know about this geothermal thing, because I'm like, what? This is so cool. I have to write about this. And I also just have like a more student type job. I work at a juice shop downtown, and I like that a lot too because it helped me interact with the locals, and I've picked up a bit of Icelandic with that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Cool. So are you able to at least...
Oh, definitely. I feel very comfortable in like that setting and through them. So Iceland is really nice, and basically all the jobs come with like unions and all these benefits.
Yeah.
And with my juice job I was able to get language courses like refunded up to 85%, and I have 2 more classes like that I can take.
Right. So if I go to real industry,
Yeah.
what level of Icelandic language do I need?
That's a good question that I'm not 1,000% sure on, because I've gotten varied answers, because I've been trying to like learn Icelandic and see how far I have to get into that, because that is my hope to stay here in the future. And I've gotten varying answers depending on your sector. And depending on the business, because a lot of the ones that interact more globally, they operate more in English.
Okay.
But then obviously, if you're in certain sectors where you're interacting more with just the locals, it would probably be more Icelandic.
All right, I understand. Like, I think it depends on the nature of job you do,
Correct.
or the position which you
Yeah.
hold in the.
For sure.
All right. Tell me a bit more about the expenses here. Like, how do you manage all that?
Okay, so that's another reason I got a part-time job, because I didn't really understand the nature of what the expenses were like until I got a job. I'm like, wow, labor's really well compensated here. So the prices of everything start to make sense. Coming from somewhere where a lot of things are pretty cheap, the food and living is a little bit more pricey, but I think it's a lot easier to manage once you're making that Icelandic paycheck.
Yeah. I come from like a non-EU country, for
Yeah.
example. What kind of restrictions or, so to say, laws are there? Like,
That's
is
a good
there
question.
a law for me to, like, I can only work minimum
Yes.
hours, or?
Yeah, there is. There is a maximum amount of hours. I believe it's 60 hours a month that you can work.
It's like 15 hours a week.
Yeah, I think that's good. Like,
Okay.
if you're a student, like, you want to work more.
And what's the average wage for an hour?
So on my juice job, I make around 20 USD an hour.
Wow.
I know.
$20 an hour.
I'm not sure what amount, but there's like amount you can make without paying like the taxes and like.
I'm
think
sure, yeah,
that's-
there's always a tax
yeah.
bracket, and the more you earn, the more taxes you pay.
Yeah, which I'm happy to do, because
that's like-
like the roads in downtown, I don't know if you know this, but once it starts snowing, the roads downtown are heated geothermally, so like they melt, so they don't degrade the like integrity of the structure by putting on salt.
Yeah.
And I mean, school is significantly cheaper here. I did my undergrad in the States, and that was whew.
Yeah.
Whew.
Are you still
Yeah.
paying the debts?
Thankfully, I was able to compound scholarships with grants and
Okay.
working.
Right. Tell me a bit more about like the community or students what you have in your class. Like,
Okay.
people are from which?
Everywhere, yeah. So we have students from all over the globe. We have a couple Latin Americans. I say that first just because I'm from Mexico. We have a couple people from the States, from Canada. We have a couple people from Africa, varying from Egypt, Kenya, Tanzania, South Africa. And then moving on to Europe, we have some people from Norway, the Netherlands, Iceland, of course.
Yeah.
And then Asia, we have some people from China, from India, and Indonesia.
Wow, there's a whole world sitting here.
Yes, we do, and we don't have that many students, so it's pretty diverse.
Right. Just an interesting question in terms of competition here.
Yeah.
How's like, are there like less jobs and more people, or more jobs and less people?
That's a good question that I'm not 100% sure on. I think the nature of the job search is that they're a little bit more last minute than I think I'm used to globally.
Okay.
In that, like, you can apply, like, have your resume sitting there, but I think they won't pick you up until like they have a job opening that they need,
Understood.
which
Okay.
could happen like within a month's notice, or
Right. Quick question: what advice do you want to give to people, irrespective of where they come from?
Yeah.
Yeah, about this particular course.
Yeah. So I would say that it's really important to put an effort to get what you want out of it. So what I mean by that is to seek out advice when you need it, or be open to asking professors and advisors for help, because they can lead you in direction, not just for class, but also for non-academic job-related things.
Last question for you. Tell me top 5 industries
Okay.
what Iceland is famous for.
Personally, as an energy engineer, so they're most known for their geothermal, for the hydropower.
Okay.
They are very known for fisheries. That's a main source of income. There's also aluminum smelting in the north, and tourism.
Thanks a lot, Renata,
course.
for coming and sharing this knowledge.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure people will have questions. Just put down in the comment section and I'll try to reply you back. All right, thank you.
Yeah, of course.